Okay, I wanted to buy a house, and I saw one that when I first came out here, and it even had a rental with its own private entrance, so I figured all I need is the down payment, and the rental will pay my rent, you know. This guy, Rico, he did a gorgeous watercolor of the house. My friend, the other one who was an engineer, gave a whole report on how sound it was and what a good, and Rico did the watercolor, wrote it in French. He thought that would impress my mother. And we were waiting for an answer, and it was no. What do I know about, what if I lose my job and I can't pay the monthly mortgage? And so about a year or two later, she said, aren't you, when the economy went down even more, she said, aren't you glad now that you didn't buy that house? I said, no, on the contrary. That $125,000 house is now $350,000. And then we changed the subject.
Tell me about this specific apartment. When was this built?
This is an add-on.
A what?
An add-on.
Okay.
Lee Fisher is a man who's still living. He lives in Oregon. He was a master builder. He knew electricity. He knew everything about building a house. But I saw an ad in the LA Weekly. I got up at 7 in the morning, but I ran over here, and I loved it. And so it was just this whole magnificent view. There was a road, but it wasn't a freeway yet. It only went to Verdugo Road. And so it was like a private road. And the noise now from the freeway, somehow it's like white, what do they call it, white snow?
White noise, I think?
White noise. Yeah. Oh, just push everything off there so you can see. And so, it's changed a lot.
So how did you make your way out to Echo Park from Woodstock?
I got pregnant.
Okay.
And I lost the baby. She only lived 2 days. And I had had an abortion when I was 19. It's funny that, and here I was so ready to have.
Well, let's focus on something else.
But that's what
brought you out here?
Yeah, I couldn't stay in Woodstock. First of all, unless you're an artist or writer living at home, I mean, where you work at home, it's very hard to make a living during the winter. And I couldn't go back to New York City. I mean, the smell of garbage. The first thing, this was before plastic bags, garbage bags.
Mm.
And the first thing when you came over the bridge and got was that smell of garbage. And I couldn't stand it. So when Norma, my friend out here, who had been a roommate of mine, invited me out, I came. I just couldn't stay in New York. And that's how I got to California. Everybody in New York that was lucky worked 6 months and got unemployment 6 months to do their own thing. All the writers and I was an art director at a publishing house, and for book jackets, and illustrations and stuff. We were very visual art, so when I saw that little place in the woods, it was woods to me. That was it. So I've never lived except Echo Park and Silver, and this is, and that was before the freeways. There was just one little road that went to Verdugo Road. That's as far as the beginning of the freeway was starting. Santa Monica wasn't in. So it would take an hour. You would take Olympic straight out to the beach. It took an hour and an hour back. But
So what year would that have been?
I came out here in '62. This was a compromise for me. It was country-like, coming from the city, you know. Yet you're 5 minutes from everything, you know. Actually, even now, this is the greatest. Silver Lake and Echo Park are the best places to live. You've got the interchange downtown. You've got every single freeway coming and going, the entrances and the exits. Where if you were in the middle of West Hollywood or the middle of, you'd have to go all the way to the Santa Monica Freeway, you know.
Well, why don't you take me around here and show me some of this stuff?
Okay, what do you?
Just the stuff on the mantle. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, well, everything here is either from the Pasadena Flea Market, which is the most exciting place in the world, because you don't know what's sitting there waiting for you. I mean, it's a rush. Made out of porcelain. And so are the 2 watermelons. And it was $3, and it has no, like it's the only one, it has no printing on the bottom. And I thought, oh my God, where could you get such a thrilling thing for $3? This was Mother's Day. I don't know if you ever listened to or watched the, what's that, the road show on KCT, Anti-Virgin. This was a Mother's Day, and we were there, and I look at the bottom, and it says Delft Sull, made in Holland, with all these marks that those antique people know about. So that's a gem.
Did you spend some time in Paris? There seems to be a bunch of Eiffel Towers.
Well, my mother's French.
Okay.
And, oh boy, it was devastating. I had such a night in Paris. That's why I believe in reincarnation. We were in Montmartre, and we had a lovely dinner. And then we were taking a walk where the cobblestones are, and it was still the Jewish section. And I was on the street that my mother kept talking about, where she had lived as a child. And I started to cry. I felt such fear, like the most horrible, horrible thing had happened there, which must have been the First World War, because Jews were discriminated against then. And it was like something so horrible. I felt such oppression. It was like, really, I had been there before. Everything seemed like it had happened before. And they couldn't get me to stop crying for like hours. They were saying, "What are you crying about?" You know, my most valuable thing in the whole world is this. I was walking in the woods up in Woodstock, and Pat and I, who always had great eyes for things, my friend Pat, grabbed for it at the same time, but I got it. It was near the stream. And it had two little eyes. It's my little mouse. And no matter how, this has retentive memory, because no matter, it could be 103 here, and this will always be cool. It just has sense memory of the oars, you know.
What mountains are those out there? Straight out.
Straight up is
Or straight out, I mean. Yeah.
well, Big Bear is up there. Those are that's Burbank. And beyond the Burbank, it's part of Griffith Park. It's the whole, it's really, what was it called? Well, Simi Valley's way up in the desert. And this is actually a whole range of this was all Griffith Park. The day that I smoked my first cigarette, I smoked my first joint, and that was 62 years ago. And my doctor told me now, they had to kick me out of the hospital. I went in about a year ago for something, and I said, I'm going through withdrawal. I've got to go home and get out of here. And I did. It would be more damage to me to go through withdrawal now than to smoke. And look, at 84, I can do anything I want. I can eat. I've been on health food for 40 years. Well, I'm a snobbish New Yorker in the same sense that my mother, you couldn't say French. She was Parisian. And I have a little bit of a snobbish New Yorker in me, but I loved California.
I am Maya. Please tell me who you are at the sound of the beep, and I'll get back to you.